Greetings and welcome to the last episode of the Mount Rushmore podcast for this year. Ever? No, you're not so lucky, audience. You're not so lucky. We're going on forever if we have our chance. We love it so much. Debating and deliberating the most ubiquitous aspects of any given topic. Not just me, of course. It's my good friends Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Howdy.
And we have been on a journey in this podcast, and we've been through an entire presidency, and we've seen things happen that we wish for and happen that we didn't wish for, but we are anything if not optimistic here and looking forward into the new year. We want to be in a dialogue with you about what you want to see happen in the world, what you want us to discuss. And so we're going to start that dialogue by sharing the Mount Rushmore of things we're looking forward to in 2021 and beyond. So I believe this was whose suggestion? Kind of a mutual suggestion?
It was Michael's. My topic. I threw it out there. I think it was either at the end of last week's episode or it was in like our just discussion about last week's episode. So
yeah, and we are narcissistic enough to think that what we talk about actually impacts the world. And there have been times when we've said, "Well, I hope blank doesn't happen," and then that thing happens. Probably no relation to what we were wishing for, but we thought just in case we do have a secret genie in a bottle or the wish fulfillment theme of the latest Wonder Woman film, where wishes come true, somehow has leaked out into the universe. So we're going to talk about things that we're looking forward to in 2021. And so Michael chose it. So Richard starts it.
All right. So my first choice, and I kind of went at this from the thought of things that I'm looking forward to in 2021. And so much of this is just wrapped up into things I wasn't able to do in 2020 because of the pandemic, because of the lockdown. Mm-hmm. Just stuff that I'd like to see happen. And the first one is getting to meet my coworkers.
Oh wow!
Because I started my current job in July, so I have never physically met any of my boss, any of my coworkers, anyone else who works. Colleagues that I work with on a regular basis. I communicate, primarily via email at this point, sometimes via instant messaging, very rarely either phone or a Zoom meeting. And it's really awkward. I'm somebody who really enjoys the social aspect of work. I consider a good workplace to be a place where I'm socially comfortable. And I think so much of me doing marketing, it's important for me to be able to get up and go across the hall and sort of talk to my boss for 10 minutes about this project that we're working on and just get 10 minutes of FaceTime to be able to sort out, okay, what do you really want from this? What are our parameters? All this sort of stuff. And it's just you don't get to know anybody if you're not actually physically interfacing with them. I mean, you can have all the Zoom meetings in the world, and it's not the same. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to in 2021.
Yeah. What's your experience been in previous offices? Did you like the social aspect of personal interaction, or was that a drag?
I did. No, I did. I've always I've sort of been someone who liked the idea of being able to, get up and get a soda from the vending machine and swing by somebody's office and just poke my head in and be like, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, really? And kind of just spend 5 minutes, or what are you working on? What kind of project? Mm-hmm. It kind of gets you through the day and makes the mundane slightly less mundane. Mm-hmm. And I've had zero experience with that over the last 6 months, and it's been really weird.
Yeah. To tell some contemporary workspaces are designed for that chemistry that comes from people just kind of bumping in that common area between here and the break room or the coffee station or the washrooms or something like that. Pixar headquarters, I think, famously so, and it just sure does create some great interaction that's you're talking about it in a social. No, I think you're still talking about it in both a occupational and social ways. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I know my wife Sarah their work is possibly not going to be going back to offices.
Yeah.
When everything is said and done, and that's
Mm-hmm.
really wild to me. And I get it. And if you're able to do that, I understand why a organization would want to not be spending millions of dollars on office space and electricity and God knows what else.
Yeah.
But there's something about that that would make me uncomfortable on some level.
Mm-hmm. Wow, Michael, how do you feel about that?
Well, I have my job is like within and of the office building itself for the most part. I mean, like in the facilities department. So I'm usually very hands-on with just things that happen in the building. But having nobody there, I've been kind of not struggling, but looking for different things. So like I totally get the feeling of like going back is kind of fulfilling this part of me that is just like, there's a part of my job that I just don't do right now. And I've still been employed, and thank God for that. But I don't share the same sort of like wanting to spend time with my coworkers aspect, like be bumping into them and having these small conversations. Like that is just not me. I am just not I'm a very helpful person. I will help anybody and do anything within the office. And I'm very nice, but I'm not necessarily friendly with my coworkers. I kind of project. I project that out because I have better things to do, to be honest. Like, and like so, if I could stay at home for the rest of whatever, if I can go in the office once a week, I would be fine with that. I can get all the social interaction I need out of Free Bagel Friday, which is never coming back.
Do you feel that Richard is unique to this workspace? You haven't had some work environments before where you're like, get me out of there. I hate all these idiots. I need to be gone from this.
Maybe one.
Yeah.
I can think of, but that was. But even then, within my own little pod of people that I interacted with on a daily basis, I got along with really well. It was just some of the other aspects.
Yeah, you're definitely in a very unique situation, having that you don't know what you don't know what the gelling is like in person. So I find that very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know at this point. It's just, I've been working with people for 6 months and I know nothing or next to nothing about them. And I just find that very odd. So,
okay, cool.
By the way, Michael, when you were responding to my erroneous suggestion for a topic for this week, you did say that we were going to do things we're looking forward to in the new year. So
okay.
That is the title I was working off of.
Gotcha.
Okay. I would like to say here at the Mount Rushmore podcast offices, we rarely make eye contact when we see each other in the hallway. Anytime that we can call in sick to work or work from home. The holiday party last year was dismal. The one this year was non-existent. And so
well, I try to spend at least 30 to 40% of my time hiding in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So
the weeping. I would also say, like, I have seen some office mates previously take that walking around and social aspect and just make a whole day out of it. Like, you can make a whole morning out of walking around with that coffee cup, talking to people. And then what if there's a birthday, in the break room or something like that? There's like, oh my God, hanging around, chatting afterwards. You can cruise a good 2.5 hours in the afternoon, after there's an office birthday or something like that.
That's so
joking
funny.
around with the UPS guy. This is it's an art form, wasting time like that. So. Winfield, what do you
got? My next choice, and it may sound schmaltzy, but it is. I'm looking forward to recording the podcast in person again.
Also on my list.
Wow. Good.
Cool.
Good for you. It's just, we got it. We've done it. We've done 40 something episodes like this in quarantine from home. We've played it really safe together. And I personally, it's better being able to talk to you guys and hash things out in person in Jeff's garage in the studio, in the Mount Rushmore, Palatial Studios with the rugs on the wall and the foam and all that stuff. I miss the professional quality of it. It's the interaction is better. You don't have to deal with, as we've had kind of the blurry video or like late recording cues, or just like trying to catch up to something stalling because of the Wi-Fi, or just like waiting for someone to speak in and talk and then being like, okay, no, you go ahead. And I think it's a very common element of what we've all gone through this year with Zoom meetings and kids being taught school at home, and all of the stuff is just like, there are aspects, as much as I kind of lamented going back to the office, there are aspects of this podcast and our friendship that is better in person. And to kind of pull back the curtains on the podcast a little bit, Jeff, you've done such a tremendous job this year, really looking back, just driving the boat. You took over. I think I had a lot more stuff to do with the kid at home, and Richard too, with 2 kids at home, and all of the craziness. And you edited just about every episode this year, and you got all of the many wonderful guests that we had, and you've really stayed on top of it. And I'm really looking forward to wresting that control back from you, you bastard.
I've been I wanted to go
back. I wanted to go back to normal when I was running the ship. Yeah. Scallywag.
I would imagine our listeners think the same. So,
but so honestly, you guys both have done so much work this year that's changed from the last couple of years. Extra work, and it's really I can't wait to help out a lot more when things get back to normal.
I'm just excited. I'm legitimately just excited for the post recording half-hour sort of BS sessions.
Yeah.
Like, just sort of finishing up our drinks or our cashews or whatever mouth drying snacks Jeff has provided us, and just kind of just hanging out. I know this is the part of the, partially this podcast is kind of a hangout, and that's the part of the reason why we do it, is because we get to hang out with each other. But there's just something different about being done with the episode and just being able to just kind of BS for a half hour.
Agreed. Okay, so Richard, that's your second also, is that correct?
Correcto.
So does Michael roll into his, do you do your third, or Michael rolls into his second?
I'll go back to back, and we basically flip. Okay. So I can do my second.
Okay.
And my second might seem a little banal, but it's just going to the library. Mostly because of Felix, but we didn't realize how often we would take that stroll. We live within like a 10 to 12 minute walk to our local library, so just throwing the kid in the stroller and walking down there maybe every other week, and checking out a dozen books at a time, and just the whole process was always so delightful. And it's it's funny, the things that are these big absences because of COVID, the dining out in restaurants and the going to movie theaters, all of that stuff is important and fun, and seeing you guys and seeing friends and seeing family. But there's just this little thing that, like, one of the things that we've missed the most is just the freaking library. And it's walking in, knowing where everything is, watching the kid go bananas, doing God knows what, climbing on things and pulling books off the shelf, and us sitting down in the different aisles. And it's this tactile. It was just part of our, weekly life. And, I'm sure the kid too is just getting bored with the same books, and all these, this kid will be bouncing off the walls. It's like, okay, let's read this other book again. And it's just like, it's a great, It's a great thing. Support your local public library, everybody.
Yeah, that's a funny thing. Is it because it is free of charge? Is that why? Because it's not, you think of, I miss going out to fancy restaurants, or I miss doing this consumer thing. Is it because the library was free? Is that why you kind of didn't expect to miss it?
I think that it also, I didn't really go to the library prior to having a child. I mean, I'd been before, obviously, but it wasn't like I didn't go and check out books regularly. Whatever books I had, I'd order from Amazon or, get digitally or whatever. But going to the library became such a just an aspect of our, weekly life with a child. And at times it was because it was something free. At times it was a place that was air conditioned, especially in the summer.
Yeah.
And you walk 10 minutes over. Sometimes go to the local diner, then afterwards go to the library, then hit up the park. And man, that you just knocked out 3 things for the kid for the day: the diner, the park, and the library, and you're home and you're like, okay, that was an outing. I can hang out now. It being free definitely helps. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did a Craigslist deal today, and he wanted to meet at the parking lot of the YMCA across from North Hollywood Park, and just, you can see that North Hollywood diner from there. And it was just kind of a nostalgia bomb just went off, because I like going to the library too, and seeing the kids section of a library reminds me of how much that was like Disneyland for a little kid. You go in there and just colorful, and there's all these kids to see these stories. The walls covered with stories. That's so cool.
That one in NoHo too is just huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big kids section, which helps. It's separated from, the kind of the other people trying to read or be quiet, and it's, it kind of allows you a little bit of space for the kids to do kid things.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, it's always a good reminder, read, learn, get an education. Did you see those 5 people passed out on the sidewalk when we walked in here?
Or anybody watching pornography on the free internet computers?
You better learn some stuff, kid. Yeah. Okay. All right. We are at our halftime, and we're going to invite you to be optimistic with us and wish along with us, and think of those things you'd like to manifest out there in the new year. And if one of those is making the Mount Rushmore podcast a sounding board for your wacky, crazy ideas and opinions, please do that. We would love to hear from you in regards to what topics you might want us to discuss. And then you could even end up on the show. Previous people, it's happened to them. It doesn't have to, but it might. So you can also go back and download, rate, and review past episodes, and then give us an earful. Let us know on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook what you think about this past episode. What did we miss in terms of our opinions that we shared there? So that would be super cool. And then, a New Year's resolution, share this podcast with many more people and let them know about this conversation that we have here. We do it every week, every Thursday, and we're going to keep on doing it. Now, we are back, and Richard's going to share his third thing.
All right, my third thing is not having to care so much about politics. I'm really looking forward to this in 2021.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I am really looking forward to kind of having the presidency be normalized, and knowing that we have a competent person in there, and not just competent, just, a normal person in there.
Yeah.
And that I don't have to.
I think this counts. I think this technically is on my list as not thinking about Donald Trump in any significant way for a long, long time. So yeah, yes. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I think it's 2 peas in a pod on that one, mm-hmm. because you would just wake up every morning and I would go I would have a Washington Post subscription, and I would wake up and there would already be 2 breaking news alerts about some dumb bullshit that Donald Trump did, or that so just some moronic headline, and then the rest of the day it was like, oh God, is this going to be the thing that takes down democracy because he did the stupid tweet or whatever it happened to be? And it's just wearying after a while, and it'll be nice to just get back to a normal sort of flow of politics where things aren't as chaotic on a daily basis. Yeah, I'm not expecting a lot to happen in 2021 politically, just because I don't think the Democrats are going to take control of the Senate. In Georgia, I know the Georgia elections, there's a possibility, but I don't think that's going to happen. And I think it's going to be a lot of sort of incremental changes one way or the other. And after 4 years of Trump, I'm kind of okay with just lots of slow incremental changes.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Yeah. Do you that is a profoundly interesting thing. There was a guy who used the presidency as this 24/7 platform for his ego and disruptive personality and narcissism and it was like a show. God, I wish there weren't so many episodes of this show. I don't want to binge the president every day.
It's the anti binge mode. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like the least bingeable thing you could possibly think of. I think
It's
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think it's just this element of I don't need politics to be this exciting.
Yeah.
Politics used to not be exciting, and it was something that I sort of, I followed, I was interested in it, but there wasn't the possibility of just chaos breaking out at any possible minute, any possible moment.
Yeah.
And that it's just, like I said, it was stressful. And I just want a low stress political year.
Like I just wanted television without the high speed car chases every half.
I think there's
Yeah.
I think that the last 4 years have shown us how important it is to like mobilize and be aware and to, I was going to say riot, but I don't mean riot. I mean, to protest and to stand up for what you believe in. But it also showed me that I really want that life that you're talking about, Richard, of going back to not caring as much and not knowing as much and being like, I can't wait to forget the names of all of the horrible people that were a part of his cabinet and, all of these rich assholes. I can't wait to just have the door close on them and we'll be delighted if I see a name one day that they're arrested for something or in jail or being prosecuted for something. Be like, oh yeah, I remember that name vaguely. This is a cast of characters. I want to be just swept away. I don't want to know. It's being cursed with the knowledge of like these horrible people. And I'm good with Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe, just getting stuff done, but not talking about it so much.
In a way, the pardons are kind of they irk me to my core, yet, and I don't think they're going to be necessarily get out of jail free for everybody involved. But were any of these people ever going to really go to jail? No, they were going to find, and if so, what's jail for that person? They're never going to give back the money they stole. They're never going to go to an actual prison. It's going to be a Camp Cupcake. It's going to be a resort somewhere.
Yeah, I told Emily exactly that. Like all these people are getting pardoned. It's scandalous, but I just don't care that much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Your third, Michael. No, that's your third, isn't it?
Yeah. So my last one, it's very LA based, but the thing I'm looking to, one of the most things is just rain in LA.
Yeah.
This next year, any rain, just the small. I don't want the smallest amount of rain. I want the largest amount of rain. I want it to constantly rain for 3 months straight. Has been so like dry and desolate and unending in the weather. And it could be just, I'm used to being stuck inside already. So I'm good with that. This last year, I just want like there to be a real reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it's one of those things that it's, like COVID has denied us so many personal interactions, but LA does this thing where it just denies you a difference in weather. And I'm just I just love it to rain, and it's gonna rain tonight, maybe even, and it just feels like the first washing away of the old year and washing in the new year with just a nice torrent of rain, please, and thank you.
It does seem like the Travis Bickle someday a real rain will wash away the scum, the filth.
Yeah.
Did you hear? I remember hearing that first I think it was on the Clash Combat Rock record, Straight to Hell or something, has a quote from Taxi Driver in it, and then hearing it in Taxi Driver. Okay, Richard, what's your final choice?
My final choice is things I'm looking forward to in the new year. Traveling. Just getting out and going places. We were supposed to go to Madrid in April. Obviously that didn't happen. And fortunately, it wasn't a few weeks earlier that we were scheduled to travel, because then we would have had a real, do we go, do we not go situation. But, it was unfortunate. We had to cancel everything, obviously, and get refunds, and it was kind of a pain. But more than anything else, it was just disappointing to have this trip that we had booked like 6 months in advance, and we were starting to get really excited for it. We had our Airbnb booked and kind of everything. And, the year before as a family, we had gone to Australia and had just this fantastic time, and made us realize that even with 2 kids, you can still pull off international travel and give your kids this really remarkable experience. That's certainly not anything I ever got. I mean, my big family trips were like to Reno, where I mainly got to stay in a hotel room and get room service. That was my big treat, while my parents went downstairs and hit the slot machines, for most of the night. So that's slightly less glamorous than Melbourne, Australia, or Madrid, Spain. And I'm just looking forward to that. I love travel, even if it's local travel, even if it's just getting out and exploring Los Angeles and exploring the Southern California area. One of the almost, or even other places in the U.S. We went out to literally the week before COVID really went from a problem to a all caps problem. We were in Chicago for a trivia tournament that we do every year, and we brought the kids along and got to see the museums and had just a fantastic time. And we're supposed to be in Austin, Texas this year, and Austin's one of my favorite cities I've ever visited, so I was really looking forward to taking the family to that. And that kind of got taken away, and I don't know how much travel we're going to get to do in 2021. I don't know what travel is going to look like next year. I don't know if it's going to be the same as we have anticipated, but we'll at least be able to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I feel confident. I feel confident that's going to happen. That at least we'll be able to explore our region.
Yeah.
And, maybe that'll be the silver lining in it. We'll get to know more about Los Angeles and Southern California than we did.
Do you have any concerns about whatever paranoia will be in place when you're wondering who is vaccinated, who isn't? What?
Oh, for sure.
It seems like after 9/11, I remember traveling, and everything was, we're going to, there was a 9/11 surcharge at every hotel you ever went to, and due to the recent events, this is happening, that's happening. And some stuff felt related to the actual downturn that impacted travel. Some seemed totally unrelated, like it was kind of a fiction that was created out of paranoia. But it seems like there's going to be something crazy I can't even think of right now, a culture change in regards to this new have-nots, almost like something from a dystopian film or something.
Well, I think
that's interesting.
I think that, traveling, when you're traveling, I would imagine that even when travel is back to being somewhat normalized, people are going to be wearing masks, and, they may not have completely full flights. So airplane tickets may be more expensive than you were used to. And I think there's going to be changes to it, but it'll at least be something. I love travel. I basically feel like that I work to be able to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And, even in this year where we bought a house and kind of were more domesticated than ever before, I'm still thinking about travel a lot and just missing that.
Yeah. Well, dudes, it seems like it's it. And so I'm going to say, due to the similarities between some of those choices, I'm going to definitely have to say that doing the podcast in person is one that I feel very much in sync with. It's going to be so fun to just kind of sit across from each other and do our thing in person and see each other and just kind of be able to see. Hopefully, we will be able to recognize the body language things that we probably picked up when we've been doing this separately, like eye rolling and just doing the twirling the finger around against the temple,
the jack off symbol with your hand. Yeah.
Yeah. When I try to drop some analysis on some of this, hopefully those things won't be so pronounced. But yeah, definitely podcast in person. So that's going up on the Rushmore.
My favorite, my favorite.
Not thinking about politics / that guy who used to be president. And since it's so atmospheric, I really dig the raining. Exciting. Yeah. And also because it does seem like the enema that we're all waiting for. And then it's just because I imagine you walking around with a big coffee mug, and your tie and your shirt, getting to meet your coworkers, Richard. I can't wait. I can't wait for them to meet you and go, who the heck is this guy? Where's he been all my life? I'm so glad we get to meet this guy. You know what? We should start a kickball team.
Yeah, we should. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Something else.
So that's it. Guys, thanks for spending the year with me. I appreciate it. I needed this year.
Yeah, this was good.
Yeah. This has been the wrap
been a pleasure.
on the 2020 Mount Rushmore podcast. As always, I'm Jeff.
I'm Richard. Guys, we're falling apart.
I'm Michael.
We're falling apart.
Was that a real buffer or a fake buffer? I heard it.